Building a guitar doesn't have to be expensive, but I've got 5 tools that I'm glad I spent the money on because these have made my life so much easier. First tool, it's gonna be something so stupid, but I absolutely can't live without it. It makes my life so much easier, is a good fan. A fan in the shop while I'm doing some of the finish work, or if I'm building a guitar and I just want a little bit of airflow, makes all the difference in the world. You don't have to get a nice Vornado, you don't have to get a Dyson. A $14 box fan from Home Depot works just fine. Granted, it's gonna be a little bit noisy, but something small like this, it works beautifully for just giving myself that little bit of airflow over the top or over the surface, especially while I'm French polishing, so I get a nicer laydown and a quicker finish. That's something I cannot live without. On to the next tool. The second thing I can't live without are upgraded blades for planes. When you've got a good blade in an okay plane, I mean, this is actually quite a nice plane, but the blade on it was really terrible. And so every time I used it, the blade would chatter, my wedge would slip out. I really hated it. So by adding a great blade and making it work with the plane, you know, through a few throat modifications, then that plane becomes one of the things that I never thought that I should have spent the money on. I'm glad I've never looked back. It doesn't have to be an expensive blade. Sometimes you can have a great plane and all you have to do is change the angle of the blade to really make it work well for you. This one, I actually have ground it back to be a super steep angle. Anytime I'm doing something where I have to do a very thin shaving of ebony and I want it to be perfectly clean, this is my go-to tool. And by the way, with this angle, I haven't had to sharpen it in years. On to the next one. Speaking of sharp tools, the third most opulent thing is a great sharpening station and with great tools. I've got these Shapton stones. These stones are beyond reproach. They are hard stones that don't dish out. They don't hollow out very quickly. They give you a great edge. It's a semi-natural stone that won't ruin the edge of Japanese blades. So that way you get a really nice fine cutting edge. And the higher the grit that you can afford, the better. I like to sharpen up to 30,000 grit, which, as you can see, is 0.49 microns. That gives you a gorgeous edge, and it tends to make your tools stay sharper much longer. And if I wasn't given this stone as a gift, I would have thought that I was perfectly fine going up to 15,000. This is one of the most amazing stones I've ever used, and this whole system is the most amazing system. You know, between the Tormek, which I use all the time despite it's not being plugged in right now, I use this all the time for grinding the edge. I go through all of the grits, you know, 1,000 to 30,000. And then if I need to, I can come back down to 120, 220, and 320 in order to properly create an edge of the blade that really, really makes my work easier. The sharper you get it, the less time you have to actually spend sharpening in between each one. By the way, don't use any strops on this. The finest leather is 1 micron. Anything you add after that is a dulling agent. So I don't strop because it will actually make my edges dull. On to the next tool. The fourth tool that I can't live without is this. This is a center finder. Now, there's a lot of times where I'm gonna find the center of something and I'm going to reach for one of my rulers that I keep underneath my bench or on the bench or under something or somewhere else. And, you know, I'll sit there, I'll measure it and do some math, and then I have to look at it and think, especially to find the center. And yes, I know there's the carpenter's trick of tilt it, and tilt's an easy number, but with the shape of guitars, you have a very complex system at work in terms of the dynamics and the shape of the instrument. So sometimes you need to figure out the center of something right here. This is something that came into my shop, And after I tried it, I realized I can't live without it. It's one of those things where it seems stupid. I mean, it's a very expensive tool, but at this point in time, I can't live without it. And I gotta tell you, there's something about that sound. And by the way, this goes for all precision measuring tools. I've never regretted the purchase of a great ruler or a great square or a great set of calipers or thickness calipers. All of those are something that I thought I was crazy for spending the money on it, but in the end, I can't live without it. All right, on to the next one. The fifth most opulent tool that I have. And this thing, for what it is super expensive. This thing is like $75, $80. It's a micro saw. It's super, super thin. It cuts about 8/1000ths of an inch with ultra fine teeth. Those teeth are so incredibly small, but this thing cuts so incredibly fast and it makes almost no waste. So I like to use this because it's a short stroke. I like to use this for cutting off the ends of braces. So if I'm cutting this off, it cuts through super fast, super clean, leaving me with a perfect edge that I don't worry about. Or if I'm making rosette tiles, I can use this and not worry about throwing away too much. It's something that I will buy probably 3 or 4 of these at a single go, just so that way I've got them on hand. If they get dull, I can just move on and never look back. Yes, I know they have a sharpening program. It's not worth my time. I want the tool in hand right away, and if I'm in the middle of a project, I just am gonna grab the next one and start going. So these are something I can't live without in my shop. I grab it, oh goodness, every week at least. And it's something that makes my life so much easier. And now I've got one bonus one. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes here into what really makes all this possible. So let's go over there. So the final bonus piece is my carrier infinity system. This thing I've got essentially hacked to hold my humidity perfectly. Now that costs more than almost anything else I've ever purchased for the shop, because not only does this system maintain the humidity where I need it to be in the winter, it does it also in the summer, along with maintaining a perfect climate. And actually, I'll show you what's going on with the climate and how we're able to keep our humidity so incredibly stable. Let's go into the other side of this wall. Okay, so we made it into our machine room where I've got 2 heating and cooling systems for my system. And on top of that, I have these 2 Aprilaire steam injectors. And these guys, as you can hear, I don't know if you can hear it, but they are currently running while I have a dehumidifier going. So that way I'm able to maintain the humidity in my shop kind of at tension. Now these Aprilairs, they are not cheap, but I gotta tell you, it makes it possible for me to walk out of my shop and go away on vacation for a week at any time of the year. Even in the winter, I can take off my usual Christmas break. And that way I don't have to worry about running in to fill up the humidifiers. When I was at my old shop, I had to fill up the humidifiers every day, twice. That means I was going through between 36 and 42 gallons of water a day to maintain humidity. And now I couldn't tell you how much water I'm going through to maintain humidity. But on the other hand, it's a good thing I don't know, because these do their job and they keep my shop at perfectly 50% relative humidity all year round. So those are my 5 favorite tools. I've got links for a lot of the stuff in the description. Please like, subscribe, follow, and I'll see you next time.